screen. Oh, let me fix my green screen real quick. That's the best it's gonna get. Y'all don't pay attention to my green screen, okay? It's a hot mess today. Let's try to pull that camera down. See if that helps. I think that helped a little bit, right, y'all? All right, can y'all hear us? We live, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Hit a comment. Go in the comment. I see some y'all already in here. I see some on Facebook. I see some on YouTube. We also streaming on Debate Talk for You. So y'all go ahead and go to Debate Talk for You. Great platforms for great discussions. Yay, you can hear me. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited. We have our special guest coming back, High Value Hebrew. Brother Reed, he's going to be coming in. And he's here on popular demand because he was here last week and we were talking about high value man versus high value Hebrew. I have personally never heard of high value Hebrew, and the way he broke it down, I was stunned. So you guys make sure y'all go ahead, go to that other video on my platform and check him out on high value Hebrew. Your mind will be open because mine was. I was like, what? Because I've always had an issue with the whole Kevin Samuels idea of high value man. So for me, it was like, it was lacking. But with high value Hebrew, I feel like it really hits all the points that it needs to hit, that at least women are looking for. So thank you guys for coming. Everybody that's in here, please, you guys, can y'all share it? Do me a favor, hit the like, hit the share, help the channel grow. We got 1,360 subscribers in about 4 months. By the end of this summer, I want 5,000. I know that's a lot. People told me, no, that's too big. Don't do it. You tripping. I'm not tripping. That's what I want. And I know with y'all help, I can get it. So please share, like, and let's get it out there. With no further ado, with no more, let's bring in Brother Reed. All right. Let's see if we can hear him. Oh, yeah, we can hear him. All right. Hey, how you doing? You back for round 2?
I'm back. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm back.
Because it got heated up last time.
A little bit.
It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And a lot of people were like, you got to bring them back. You got to bring them back. So we knew we had to bring you back. And we're going to keep on bringing you as long as you want to be here, as long as the people want to hear from you. I don't care. I want to hear from you. You're coming back. Okay. Now, before we get into the show, no problem. Before we get into the show, I want everyone to know that our high value Hebrew is out of the country. So it may be times where he may drop, or it may be a delay or something like that. Let's just be patient. Let's work with him because, you know, he is outside of the country and his Wi-Fi is a little wonky. So it may happen. Let's just pray it don't happen. But if it does, if you hear a delay or if he drops, he'll come right back. Don't you worry. Okay. He's not leaving us tonight for 2 hours. Okay. Secondly, I want to just jump right into it. We're not going to talk about the passport bros and the modern women yet. We're going to go right into what we were talking about last week, which is high value man versus high value woman. And for everyone who knows, we're going to be doing this for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we're going to hit the link in the chat. You guys can ask any questions, give any comments live right here on Let's Talk Podcast, and ask this brother any questions that you have. So with that being said, Robert Reed, let's do a little replay on last week's show.
Okay, sounds good. Where do you want to? I had an idea, but where do you want to start?
It's a lot, man. The floor is yours. It's a lot. Okay. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, there was one big question, and I'm sure you may agree that this was one of the bigger questions in the last show, and that question was, how can a man complain about the high body count and they're contributing to it. Remember that one?
Yes, that was a big one.
Okay, so that was a big one. Now, it got, everybody kind of was getting in on it or whatever, but I didn't quite give a clear answer. Okay, so I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to go ahead and answer and give a little bit of clarity. Now, if we look at some of the facts, data, statistics that are out there, then I had to disagree with the premise of the question. Now, the reason why I disagree with the premise of the question is that when we go ahead and add in some facts and stats and data into it, if we look at right now, men between 18 and 30 are either virgins or haven't had sex in the past year.
I didn't know
and
that.
if we look at, right, exactly. And some of these studies, now the studies, let me just put it out there right now. So people are like, okay, well, where's these? Okay, CDC, blackdemographics.com, and some university studies. Okay, some university studies from Ivy League. So this is something that is not secret information. This is something anyone can Google. Okay, so it's no big deal. But this is what the information is saying. Okay, that men between 18 and 30 right now are either haven't had sex in a year or they're virgins. Okay, so they're not contributing. Okay, then you have men who are single and childless. 51 to 52% are single and childless right now. Okay, so they're not contributing. Then you have the other 31% that are married with children. So they're not contributing, which leaves only about 16 to 18% of men who are sleeping with the other 80% of women. Is 16% of men who are responsible for baby mamas out there, if you will. So the men are not largely contributing to this whole high body count thing. It's the large majority of women converging in on the same men. And the evidence of that is that we look at the stats from dating apps, your Tindles and Bumbles and all these other dating apps or whatever, that the women, when they swipe right or choose a guy, it's only 20% of the men that get all the likes on these dating apps. And that's all of them. All of them, the numbers coalesce to the same thing. They converge in on the same guys. So the guys, so the men are not contributing to the high body count. Now, in the last show, I was focusing on, well, it's up to a woman to say yes. And you remember, I was saying, okay, well, women hold the keys to sex, men hold the keys to marriage, right? And so that's the point that I was trying to make, because I wanted to go down that road, but the point wasn't being made in my estimation. So I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and just give the data. No, men are not contributing to that high body count. It is it's the women who are converging in on the exact same guys. Because when you think about it, you've seen countless street interviews, sitting on talk shows and podcasts and stuff. Women typically describe the same guy. That's why you have this prototypical, 6 feet, 6 figures, so on and so forth. Because they pretty much want the same guy. So they converge in on the same guy, a guy who has options. Okay, so they're either going to converge in on this high value guy, or they're going to converge in on poor guy from last week, the Pookie and Ray Ray. Sorry, so they're going to converge in on Ray Ray. They're going to converge in on either Ray Ray, Pookie and Ray Ray going to either get in there and make baby mamas, or you're going to get, because think about it. Think about celebrities. Think about Nick Cannon. Think about DMX. He had like 9 different, children, baby mamas, or whatever, right? Think about all these high value people. They have a lot of children. I'm not knocking them for it, but we're just looking at the reality. We're looking at the reality. The women are converging in on the same guys. So I have to say that no, for the most part, men, no, not contributing to your high body count. You contribute to your high body count. You are the one who say, yes, you can sleep with me. Yes, you can have access to my womb, or no. Okay. A guy can ask, but it's up to the woman to say yes. Okay. And that's why I was telling the other guests from last week, I was kind of slow walking it, and I was just saying, hey, listen, if 10 guys want to sleep with you and you say no to all of them, that's 10 guys who did not contribute to your body count. But when you say yes to that one, it's one. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I was doing last week. So anyway, to land the plane, no, largely no. The facts, the data, the stats don't say or don't suggest that men are the one contributing to the high body count.
Dang,
Where
but
else did you want to go?
this is. I know this is gonna be a little off of what we're talking about, but it still is what we're talking about. I want to ask you
Uh-huh.
something. Why are these women doing that? Why are we converging to either a Pookie and Ray Ray or the high
Right.
value? Why is the middle, regular, everyday Joe not getting played? What is happening?
I I am absolutely so glad you said that, because the guys in the middle, those are your passport bros, right there.
Oh, I like
The
how you did
guys in the
that.
middle,
I like how you
those are
did
your
that.
passport bros right there. I'm so glad you put it that way. Now,
Okay.
to answer your question, they're converging on the Pookie and Ray Rays because the Pookie and Ray Rays have swag, they have game. That's why they get play. Okay? They have swag, they have game. They converging on the high value men, or high value Hebrew if you want to throw that in there, but on the high value men because they have substance, they have provision, they have leadership, they have the ideal, they're the ideal guy. There's so few of them, it's only like 15% of them, of the men even fit that idea, but they're the ideal guy. The Pookie and Ray Rays, they're fun. They got swag. They have danger to them. There's a little, there's a little something there. So that's why the guys in the middle are too. They're lame. They're not
They
exciting.
call them corny.
It's boring. Yeah, they're gonna be about paying their bills and trying to figure out retirement plans and paying the insurance. There's
But
nothing
that makes
exciting
me
about it.
happy.
There's
I'm
nothing
excited
exciting.
about hearing that. You paying bills.
Exactly.
I'm happy.
Exactly.
that's,
Exactly. It's their
that makes me
conditioning.
happy.
Yeah.
So I
It's
like how
that
you
conditioning.
swung. I like
Go ahead.
I like how you squeeze that in there. I like how I asked a question and then you said, so this is where we get our passport bros from. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
like how
that
you
was
put
a
it.
thing for
Go
me.
ahead.
I think that was an issue for me too. I think from what the guy was saying last week that came on,
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of looking at it like if everybody just says no, then nothing will be nothing. And in a perfect world, right? I think that we could say that with a lot of things. Like we could use that on
Right.
every playing field. Like just don't do this or just don't do that, and nothing would ever go wrong.
Right.
But when you're looking at the reality of the situation, which is the statistics, what you brought, and me, I love statistics because you
Yeah.
can't argue with that. And even if you don't believe all of it, I tell people all the time, let's say you don't believe the statistics, look at your life. Look
Yep.
around you. Look at your friends, your sister, your mama, your cousin, and line it up with the statistics. And most likely it's going to fit perfect. So even if you
It's
don't
gonna
believe
fit.
the statistics, look around you.
Yep.
Look at the people at your job. Look at the people in your
Yep.
neighborhood. Look at your sister, your cousin, your brother. And most likely you're going to say, yeah, this does most likely sound like this is
Correct.
correct. So I'm glad that you brought that up. If anyone in the chat saw last week's show, this is your opportunity because we're going to spend about another 10 minutes talking about last week's show. So if y'all have any questions from last week that you guys feel like, you know what, I wanted to bring that up, type it in the chat and we'll definitely address you. Now, last week, we also were talking about the body count, which is
Yeah.
similar to what we were saying, what we were talking about, controlling the body count. A woman is in charge of it, or not in charge of it, but she's in control of it. And based off of the statistics, we
Right.
prove that she is in control of it, meaning if she has a high body
Yeah.
count, she has no
Right.
one but herself to blame. But this is my question to you. What do you say? Because we want to build here. That's what we try to do here. We don't want to tear down. We want to
Sure.
build.
Sure.
So truth is first. So we got
Sure.
the truth. The truth is out there. We know what the issue is now. What do you say to sisters who have created or are manifested this high body count based off of the statistics you shown, choosing the Pookie and Ray Ray, et cetera, et cetera. And now they're trying to, this was my question last week, I didn't get to answer. I was getting a lot of people coming on, I saw a lot of people coming on Kevin Samuel's show saying, okay, I don't want to be intimate no more. I did that. I got children from different baby daddies. I've been with this person, that person. I'm done. I am saving myself until I get married. And you've heard the Kevin Samuels and other people say, you know, so you're gonna give it to all these Pookie and Ray Rays who abandoned you, but me, you want to try to act stingy. What would make me want to marry you with all these baby
Right.
daddies and all these body counts? And I'm gonna wait for it. I don't got time. I'm gonna get that for somewhere else. What do you say to those women that's in that type of conundrum?
Yeah, well, one, I like the fact that you said it's conundrum because it is a conundrum, and there's not an easy answer. But I have a couple of answers there. One, some of them it's a wrap. Some of it is a wrap, okay? Because they won't adapt. Okay, so for those who won't adapt, it's a wrap. Now, for others, okay, they're gonna have to, instead of doubling down on the masculinity, doubling down on the aggression, they got to double down on the femininity. They have to double down on femininity and being, more cooperative. Because if you want to get a decent guy, I'm not even saying high value, I'm just saying decent. Because the guys in the middle, obviously, they figured it out. They figured it out. They say, you know what? Hey, I have options. I don't have to settle or put up with deal with any drama. I don't have to deal with anyone's trauma. I'm sorry about your trauma, but I don't have to bring it into my life, right? So they need to double down on the femininity. And then I'm gonna say something that's super duper radical. Okay, a lot of women are not gonna like it. I'm telling you right now, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Here's the thing. Some of them, the ones that are able, they need to give their children to the father. Period.
What?
Yeah. Here's the reason. Here's the reason why. It is a big ask for a woman that has a couple of children or a couple of baby daddies to ask a new guy, a decent guy, good guy, the guy you want, to take care of another man's seed. Now, again, hey, stepfather, I understand. Okay, I get it. But what I'm saying is that I was gonna say in this country, but I'm in Southeast Asia right now. But in the West, they treat it like it's no big deal. It's so normal. Okay, it's normal to be stepdaddy. It's normal to no. You're talking about a position that has no reward whatsoever. The woman wins, the child wins. They both get access to the protection, it's provision. It's a thankless job. Again, step parent. So what I'm saying is that you're asking a whole lot. Now, I know you're going to get pushback because, and most of it will be emotional, even though they won't put it on that. They'll say, oh, well, the father is unfit, or, I can't find him, or anything. You slept with them. You gave this guy your womb. And now you're the one saying that he's not fit to be a father. You gave him your womb. So I would say be careful of saying that. Be really careful, because the people, some of their sympathizers might be the way, yeah, I understand, because the baby daddy ain't it, all that. But to me, that just does not make sense to a guy, because it's like, okay, he's not it, okay, but you slept with him maybe multiple times, or gave your womb to him maybe multiple times. I don't understand. So he's unfit. He's fit to put a baby in you, but he's not fit to take care of his child. I don't understand. The other thing is that you will be shocked at some men who would love to have their children. They rather you just give them the child, let them figure out all the baby, the child rearing and the child care and all that, rather than battling out in court. Okay, I've talked to countless and seen countless men. They have to battle it out in court. They would have to fight it out and stuff like that. So now, if you meet a guy, right, and you have children, and you say, okay, well, I have 2 children. They stay with their father, that kind of, they're his kids, because you can say, hey, they're his kids, they're his children. So I let them stay with his father. Now, again, I'm coming, from a Hebrew perspective, because they didn't play the stepdad role. They just didn't do that. If the father's dead, that's different. But they really just didn't do that. There's no redeeming quality. There's no parade. There's nothing, right? And then of course the all too familiar refrain would be like, well, it's its own reward. It's easy to say that when you're in a position where you benefit. If I get a guy, if I'm a woman, if I get a guy to come in, take care of me, take care of my children, of course the woman and the child wins. But what does the guy get? What does the guy get? He gets a lot of responsibility.
You ain't my daddy.
Exactly. He gets responsibility with no authority.
Don't discipline my child. That ain't your kid.
Exactly. And then if the relationship doesn't work out, all your resources was poured into that woman and poured into that children. You had all the responsibility, but and accountability, but no authority. It's a thankless job. So the best solution, now I know most women won't do it, but the best solution is give the children to their father. Because now you're in a better, you got another tick mark in the dating market. You got a little bit better, because now the guy don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry about the children. They're with their father. Okay, cool. I can deal with her. You can go from there. So it's just a little bit better there. So some of them it's a wrap. Some of them they need to double down on their femininity and be cooperative. Okay, because I'm telling you right now, the guys who are coming overseas and coming to Thailand, going to countries in Africa, going to the Philippines, going to Colombia and South America, and getting this treatment and getting with women that don't have all this drama and don't have all these, don't have all these children or whatever, you got to compete. You got to compete. You got to bring something to this. I am the tech. That doesn't work anymore. It's a wrap for that. That men walk away. I try to tell one young lady, I said, please quit saying, well, I don't entertain anybody who tell me that, ask me what I bring to the table. I said, okay, that's cute. But what men hear, and this is your customer, right? What men hear is that you bring nothing. If you cannot quantify what you bring to the table, you bring nothing to the table. And if you have a nice little cute, little witty, halfway witty response of, well, I am the table or whatever. No, it doesn't work with guys at all. They're not moved. They're not impressed. It doesn't work. That is a red flag that says you bring nothing. Period. You bring nothing.
Well, the thing is, what you brought up, I'm gonna bring up 2 points. The first part you brought up about the father getting the kids. Believe it or not, if you see the comment that's up now, entertain the thought with Reese Robert, which is one of our co-hosts, by the way. She puts, a man definitely needs to have his son, and a daughter can visit her father when you're courting or entertaining a new life partner. So I want to focus on the first part. A man definitely needs to have his son. I've always told women this throughout my lifetime. When your son starts to get around the age of 11, 12 years old, when they start getting that little hair on their chest and they start feeling like a man, they need to be with their daddy. Like, that's it. They need to be with their daddy. You have done what you could do. You have done your best. You have tried hard and you have put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I congratulate you, sister. But you need to get that boy to his daddy. Let him have his son, because he's going to be able to teach him how to deal with other men, how to handle handle the world, because how the world treats me and how the world treats a male, it's not the same. I can only tell you from my perspective and what I see. I see them do this to men, but I can never say, okay, yes, this is how it is. I just haven't experienced the same issues and things like that. So I've always been an advocate of that. I never thought of packing the whole kids up and sending them away, but I did think about it. I did think about the son. I was like, let his butt go. Girl, you done. He bigger than you. He's stronger than you. He done got testosterone in him. Girl, you can't do that to this boy. What you gonna do to him? He's like 62. Like, what is you gonna do? Give him to his daddy. Like, so I definitely agree on that point. Now, women that say things like, I am the table, or they say things like, they get mad when you don't want to answer, what do you bring to the table? I've never, and I'm almost 40, this is new. I've never remember in my lifetime, when I was in my youth, when I was at my prime, I don't never remember no man saying to me, what you bring to the table? Asking me no questions like that. I don't remember that. I've never heard of this. This is like crazy. Like, I didn't know. I just thought I had it. Like, this is crazy to me. So what I want to ask you is, what brought this on? Is this always been there? Because I don't remember this.
Well, you know what? It's been there, but it's been under the surface. But I'm gonna tell you why. There used to be a time where a guy could see what a woman brought to the table. He can kind of see it because she presented that he does it. Because guess what? These same guys, they don't ask this of foreign women. They don't even ask that question. What do you bring to? They get to see it. It's on display. She's affectionate. She's soft. She's feminine. She's cooking. She's cleaning. She's catering to him, and he's taking care of her. He's taking care of the bill. He's paying the bill. She's taking care of him. he's taking care of her and the financial issues or anything while he's overseas. He see the exchange. What happened was you have over the last few decades, but lately you have social media and stuff like that, and everything is kind of just over sexualized. So the obvious part is, okay, well, we can sleep together, but guys saying what else? Okay, because obviously, if you with a woman, natural woman, of course she has that, between her thighs and all that. But a guy's asking a female, what do you bring to the table? Because he's saying, I don't see anything else. What else is there? Okay. And so that, because they're putting out either their sexuality or the things that make men attractive to women. They'll say, oh, I have remember last week in the last show, I have my own car, I have my own house, I have a degree, I make my own money, blah, blah, blah. Nothing that a guy cares about. So he's still wondering, the question is still not answered. What do you bring to the table? Because I'm not looking for a strong, independent woman with this big time degree or whatever. I don't need that, because that doesn't do anything for me. That does nothing for me. Okay. So what else you got? You know what I'm saying? So that's really what happened is it just because it's been buried. It's just been buried. It's been hiding behind, Instagram poses and, and twerking and just all kinds of things like that. And guys just wondering, they're trying to pull back the veil and like, okay, great. Okay. You can twerk. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. What else? What else you got? You know what I'm saying? Guys are just kind of elevating, it's more than that. And think about it this way. If it was just about the physical, you don't have to get on a plane to get physical. Just whip out some money, right?
Yeah, this is true. But it's a question up here. It says, and I've heard women say things like this before. They say, if you don't know what I bring to the table, why are you in my face? I've heard women say things like, you should already know what I offer, what I bring. And they kind of use that in a sense of like, you're not paying attention. I'm not saying that's what this sister is saying, but I've heard other YouTubers and other people say like, okay, so how you don't know what I bring to the table? Why you even asking me that? Asking that question, I've heard women say, is kind of insulting, not just insulting, but it's like, what have we been doing this whole time? I had a woman say, we've been dating for a while now, and you want to ask me what I bring to the table? Like, you don't know what I bring to the table? So what you say to that question?
I understand. So it's kind of two questions, right? One question is like, we've been dating for a little while. What do you mean you don't know what we bring to the table? And then the other side is, we just met, right? So if I start with it, we just met. If we just met, how would I know what you bring to the table? If we just get together on a coffee date, first time, how would any man know? We don't know. We have to sit there and talk, have a conversation. What do you see in your future? Whatever. What do you want? Are you interested in marriage? Are you interested in having children? Where are you interested in living? Things like that. But that's what we're there for in an initial meeting, our initial date. We're there to find out what you are about. Just like a woman is there to find out what a man is about. But guess what? She finds out really, really quick. Why? What do you do? First of all, physically, she's looking at him. Okay, how tall is he? Is he at least taller than me? Okay, is he in shape? Does he take care of himself? That kind of thing. Okay, what does he do for a living? She might not pinpoint exactly, how much money he makes, but by the fact that she's asking, well, what does he do for a living? She's trying to assess how much money he makes. Is he a provider? Through the course of a conversation, she's going to find out, does he have leadership, skills? Is he intelligent? And she learns that through the conversation itself. Those kinds of things. So she's getting answers to her questions, right? So now the guy is trying to get answers to his questions. Okay. He's looking for support from the Hebrew side and help me. How can she complement what I am doing? If I am building something, how can she complement me, complement that piece? Okay. And not be a headache. I don't want to come home to a headache. I don't want to come home, but I got to find that out. I don't know. And here's the funny thing is, the women, it seems to me, just for what I've seen, it seems to me the women who say things like that, and I'm not talking about the host there, I know she's just posing the question, but who say things like that have no idea what they bring to the table, because I don't understand, and guys don't really understand, like, How is that one of the toughest questions in the world? How is that if you know what you bring to the table? Because the women who have something to offer men or know what men want, they can easily just rattle it off. They say, well, I was kind of raised with traditional values, or I wasn't raised with traditional values, but I believe in traditional values. I believe in, my husband is is the head of the household. He's a protector. He's a provider. He's a leader. I believe that, sometimes the world beats him up. I think I need to recharge him, stuff like that. I would love to have a family. I would love to have, children for my husband, that type of thing. And I hope, and we could just build a strong nuclear family. I believe in just being together, family, and things like that. So when guys hear stuff like that, he's like, okay, this is a keeper. This is wife material. This is what they're waiting to hear. So if the woman can't say that, okay, I think guys need to ask questions like that. They have to ask questions like, you know why? Because men, if they're the gatekeepers to commitment in marriage, this is a huge investment to bring a woman in your life. Okay, so if I have a great income, I have a 6-figure income, I'm doing pretty good, I'm okay with or without the woman, right? So she wants to come into my program. I need to see if she's going to complement and enhance that. I don't need help spending my money. I don't need help doing that. Okay. So, and I don't need, to spend money on a dress and purses and makeup and all that. All that, my life is complete without having to spend money on that. So she has to be worth that. And so, and so the last show, what we were talking about, remember I said, I really don't think there's high value women per se. I think there's high quality women, because women are born with their value and they have to preserve it. They have to preserve that value. Be chaste, be modest, be traditional. These are the type of women that guys want to marry. These are the ones these are the type of women that men take off the market, if you will.
So I understand everything you said. So want to make sure I get this right. So when a guy is initially courting this young lady, getting to know this young lady, you're saying that this question needs to be asked, so that way you know what you're investing in. But if a guy, let's say a guy was dating a woman for 6 months, do you think that would be an appropriate question, or do you think he should have already established his answer and made a choice whether to stay or go?
He shouldn't. If you're talking about 6 months in, he should know. He should know by then. Yeah.
But if he did ask, 6 months in, and the woman was to get offended and say, yo, wait a minute, we've been dating this whole time, how you don't know what I bring to the table, would that be an incorrect reaction on her part? Or you still think she's overreacting, or do you give her a little bit more space as, you know what, 6 months, like, what's your stance on that? And then she made a response to what you said. And by the way, Reese, you coming on, girl, don't worry, we bringing people in. It's a time, okay? The show is timed, all right? But we gonna get y'all in, don't worry.
Okay, so to answer your question, I'm gonna say that depends, but to give you a clear answer, the reason why I say it depends is that if she's actually been displaying that, or like saying some of the things that I just said, she's like this, she's traditional, she want to be married, children, da da da, and all that other stuff, build a life, and all that other stuff, then yeah, it's offensive for him to ask that, because she answered the question for the past 6 months. If they've been dating, she's answered that question. She said, hey, so yeah, that's on him if he has not been paying attention, because he should be looking for wife material, because the guy's going to put a woman in a category in his brain. Same thing as a woman. She's going to put him, he's going to put her in a category. Is this entertainment purposes only, or is this marriage material? Now, again, I don't advocate entertainment purposes only. I don't advocate that. I'm just saying it's what people do, right? So either he's like, okay, this is going to be something long, this is for right now, or this is going to be long term, right? So during that 6 months, he needs to be paying attention, asking penetrating questions like that, right? Even if it's not as direct as what do you bring to the table, he needs to be asking questions that kind of goes along with that. But at the same time, when a man's vetting, a woman should be vetting a man too. At the same time, they should be vetting.
Like I said, for me, I ain't never heard of this when I was out there dating. Ain't no man asked me that. So right. I'm not gonna lie. I would like to believe that I would be able to handle it. Like, oh, so this is what I bring to the table. I would like to believe that I would, but I gotta be honest. The way that I was raised, the culture that I'm in, it wasn't until I got married in years and got older that I started realizing, oh snap, okay, I'm starting to realize, learn things. So I believe that I might have been one of them women that was like, what you mean? I am the table, right? I might have been
Yeah.
one of those women. I hate to say it, but it's true. Not that I'm
Right.
saying we should be saying that now because, we got to work together, right? But I might have been one of the women in my youth that might have said that. Now we're going to answer one more thing that Reese said, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of the show because we are at the 8:36 mark. So what
Okay.
she add additionally, I don't know if you can see it, because remember what you said. You were like, look, you're vetting her, you're courting her, you're trying to figure out, is this wifey material? What category I'm going to put her in? But what she's saying is, uh, you're looking at me for the wrong reasons if you didn't choose me for a reason. What made you ask me to spend precious time with you? So she's saying a date should be intentional. So what she's saying is basically in a nutshell, if you don't see wifey materials in me initially to the point where you have to ask me that, why are you even asking me to go out?
Understood. But see, we need a time frame there. Again, if this is a first date, I see you somewhere. Hey, how you doing? We exchange information. Let's go out on a date. I don't know that you're wife material. I don't know that in the beginning. How can I know that?
So
The the,
then
the
why did you
reasoning
ask?
is
Did you ask clearly on physicality? Like why did you ask her
that
out?
that's why a man asked initially anyway. You don't know it. Okay, if you see a woman across the room, you don't know her. All you have is the physical. You just see her. That's the initial attraction. The initial physical attraction. Like, okay, she looks great. I like her hair. I like her face. I like her body. Whatever. I'm gonna ask her for a date. That's all you know. That's all you know on the first time you meet someone. When you go on a date, you get to know more, and that is intentional. The intention is to get to know you. That's the intention. Let me get to know you. Is she wife? When I get to know you, in your mind, you're thinking, or the guy, he's thinking, okay, is she wife material or not? Okay, talking about a decent guy. If you have the average guy and he's just trying to be physical or whatever, then that's his intention. His intention is hopefully he can be physical. But I'm just saying, the whole thing of why do you ask? How will I know a woman I've never met before, and all I can see is how physically attractive she is because we haven't said a word to each other. We have exchanged no words, so I don't know if she's wife material, girlfriend material. I don't know. I have no idea. I won't know until I ask her out on a date. We go on the date and we start talking. That's the only way I'm gonna know. So the intention is to get to know them initially.
Okay, so I've heard men say before on a podcast, his brother said, I can't remember the name of the podcast. He said, if I'm asking you that, that's a good thing. That's what
Yeah.
a guy said. He said, again, like I said, I'm married now, so it's like, you know, he bought the table, so I don't even know. I don't
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah.
But for the people
Yeah.
out there, this is something that's very contentious when you start asking these type of questions. They don't like that. But again, you guys, we are gonna bring you guys up. So all y'all in there, y'all fired up. Y'all stay for like another about 30 minutes. We're about 30, 45 minutes. We're gonna start bringing people up when Robert Reed is ready, and we'll go from there. With that being said, let's get into the topic of the show. Like I'm excited
All
because I
right.
got some videos for you tonight.
Let's do it.
So
Let's
passport
just.
bros versus modern women. What does that mean? Explain to me, what does it mean, passport bros versus modern women?
Well, that I like the title. Well, that is basically the first part of this show when you was talking about the Pukinereres and you talk about the high value men. Then we're talking about the in between, right? And typically, passport bros are upwardly mobile guys. This is middle class, $50,000, $60,000, $75,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year type guys. They've been obviously demonized almost just for exercising options, just for traveling, which I don't understand. I don't get because they were told for the most of them, you know, we don't want you, we don't need you, go somewhere else, that kind of thing. But also, many of them, they did not have issues with getting dates in America. They just didn't like what they were getting. They didn't like the results. They didn't like what they were getting. People kept saying that, you know, keep thinking that it's people that cannot get a date or women absolutely do not want them, right? That's not necessarily true. It's just they don't like what they get. They don't like the results that they're getting. They can get a date, but if I go spend $600, $700, $800, you know, on a date, and guys are cost benefit analysis, right? They're thinking, okay, is this worth it? Okay, is this worth it? Does this person have substance? Was it worth me spending $500 or $600 on this date for this woman? And so, you know, anyway, the passport bros versus, you know, modern women is that, unfortunately, you got people like, you know, Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate and others. They pull back the veil, you know, on modern dating. They just pull back the veil, and now guys are just waking up, and they're saying, you know what, I'm worth more than this. I don't have to just be happy and content with just any type of attitude or any type of treatment or outright being ignored. You know, these are the guys, you know, that's kind of in the middle, but a lot of them do very well financially. They do very well financially. And then the whole movement itself, Passport Bro, the whole movement itself is actually empowerment. When you look at most of the guys are saying, you know, become the best version of yourself. Look at all the podcasts that say this. Become the best version of yourself, work on yourself, self-improvement, you know, all that. Stack your chips, stack your money, get in the States, go monk mode, you know, don't just work and work out, okay? Improve your mind, all that other stuff, you know, and then go out to another country and, you know, and exercise your options there, you know, and do that. So now on the modern woman side is that you see a lot of videos of them saying, hey, we don't care, but there's more videos coming out every single day with them saying they don't care. So I don't get it. It's very, very confusing. And I think it's the implications. You know, the implications is, you know, the pool, the well is going to run dry, you know, as far as available men, you know. So
yeah, it's already a shortage from what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
I heard it's a shortage that the trees ain't bearing that much fruit. But my question to
Yeah.
you is there a wrong and a right way to be a passport bro?
Absolutely. 100%.
So give
100%.
me some examples of a wrong way and a right way. The wrong way first, and
Uh,
then tell us the right way.
the wrong Okay, the wrong way, there's a couple of wrong ways. The wrong way is getting a little bit of money and deciding to travel and go broke. That's because you're not ready. Okay, at that point, the guy's not ready. Two is going out there. Going out traveling and all you want to do is, just sleep around or whatever. That's just an individual. You know, they try to throw mud on the movement, the dirt on the movement, because they think it's all courteous tourism. Okay, I know there's like censorship with certain words and things, and it's not that. You know, it's not that at all. I guess I'll put it like this here: the wrong way is being a passport pookie. Okay, you're the same guy in the States. And you're going out there bringing your pookie ways, your pookie swag, and your pookie, you know, all that to another country when that's
What
not
about
you.
Ray Ray?
You
You
don't.
just talked about Pookie.
Ray,
Is Ray Ray coming or Ray
yeah,
Ray staying in the States
you
and
don't.
Pookie just
You don't have to
leaving?
do that. Yeah. You don't have to do that. That's the wrong way. Let me give a short answer. Yeah, being a passport pookie or Ray Ray is the wrong way of doing it. It's because
Okay.
it's not, you know, yeah, you're not increasing your value. You're not bettering yourself. That's the wrong way. If it's not about bettering yourself, if it's not about getting into these other countries, learning other cultures, picking up new languages, things like that, and also looking for your potential wife. I mean, you might have to date a few people to find out, but eventually dating and finding your potential wife, then I mean, you know, you're doing it all wrong. You know, you're doing it all wrong if you're not ready and you're not improving yourself. You're not bettering yourself. And remember, not everyone who says, hey, there's a passport bro, is a passport bro. Because some of them are just jumping on the movement because, you know, they think it's cool, it's cute and all that, you know. So not all of them, it's not all the same. The right way which I've already, you know, kind of alluded to, is in being a actual better person, actually being the best version of yourself, actually educating yourself, actually expanding your mind, getting into these cultures, getting into these other languages, investing, get into these other countries where your dollar is stronger and you have some investment opportunities. That's how you become a high value Hebrew. That's how you become, when you bring your morality with you, you're a high value Hebrew, but that's how you become a high value man. When you're doing all those other things, you know, finding a woman that's extra. That's like, okay, great. You know, okay, that's wonderful. But you should already be on your grind. You should already be working on, if you're not already there, being upwardly mobile. You should be working on that, becoming the absolute best version of you. That's the right way of doing it. Not just, you know, partying. You know, you can party. That's fine. You know, I'm not policing anyone's behavior. But, you know, you can party, but that well is going to run dry real quick. But if you're stacking your chips and you're investing and you're buying condos and starting restaurants, I've seen a lot of passport bros, black owned or American owned restaurant in Thailand, Colombia, Brazil, all of that. They are making moves, making money. A lot of men are networking together. A lot of the brothers are banding together. When they see each other, boom, they sit down, they talk shop, they talk business. They get it done. You know, finding women, that's just extra.
So what do you say to the modern women now? Because if this trend continues to go if you're looking for a brother, between the ones that are in jail, too old, too young, married, you know, they don't like the same, you know, they like the same parts they got, you know, I don't want to say it on YouTube.
Right.
Your options are slim. And now you got these brothers catching planes and they out. They like, I'm out of here. What is the state for the modern woman? What are we looking at if we continue on this trajectory that we're going? We continue on this road that we're going. What does this look like? And what would your advice be to these modern women?
You know, it's funny you should mention that. There's an article and a study out right now. You may have seen it, and I'm sure some people who are watching this right now, they're gonna harken back to it and be like, oh yeah. But there's a study going on. There's a study that's out right now. Who wrote that study? I'll get back to you on it. But anyway, there's a study going out. They said by 2030, that's 8 years from now. Okay, 7 years from now. They said by 2030, 45% of the women in the West will be unmarried and no children. That is the trend right now. So much so to JP Morgan right now, they're making investments in pet foods, wine, and things like they're making these investments right now. Here's the thing. The killing part about it is that if some of the modern women, if they can't get past their ego, and what I mean is that they don't hold the cards. Meaning, if you have guys out there and they have their passports and they know that they can go somewhere else for their options. I mean, what leverage do they have? What leverage do you have to double down on being, you know, mean or masculine or have this attitude or being uncooperative or being strong, independent, and all that? Okay, you're saying you don't need them, so what's the problem? You're good. You're happy. You know, I mean, what did Kevin Samuel say? You know, hey, buy a cat, buy a dog, die alone. Okay, it's up to you. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. I know some women want to be alone. They want to be independent. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But for those who do not, you got to understand, you don't hold the cards for the guys. He can choose. He can have what he can go and choose elsewhere. He can go overseas. He can bring his resources anywhere else. He does not have to settle right here. So the question again becomes, what is the leverage? You can't say, oh, well, if we want to put color to it and say, okay, well, if you want to have black babies, that's not true. That's not true. There's a lot of African women who would love to, that will beg to differ. I could have black babies with an African woman. I can have black baby with an Afro-Colombian. I can have Afro-Brazilian. I can go to the DR. I can have black babies. So that you don't have that leverage. So I'm trying to figure out, what is the leverage? So
don't ask me. I'm married. I don't know. I don't know what leverage. I don't know.
Humility.
Y'all in the comment section. What leverage do y'all got? What is this? I'm guessing he's not gonna answer her question. Which question are you talking about? Which question?
Yeah, which question?
I don't know what you're talking about. Jay, tell us which question. Type it in and we'll answer. We're answering all the questions. Matter of fact.
Yeah, type.
Soon we're gonna put in the link.
I don't know which question you're talking
so type in the question and we would love to see what you're talking about and we'll answer that. Everyone who's on everyone that's in here right now, you guys like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, share. Come on, y'all, take y'all little finger and just press that button. Do it with me. We're gonna do it together. 1, 2, 3. Press. There you go. Good job. Thank you. Anyone who's in debate talk for you, you guys got about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we're going into the overtime portion, like Sal always says. It's overtime. So if you want to hear the overtime show, you need to like and subscribe on Sal page if you're not. Show some support and love to him. His Cash App is right down there. Sal Showtime. Go show him some love for giving us his platform to be able to get our message out. And then y'all gonna go ahead and type in Let's Talk Podcast 55 and come over here for the overtime portion because we about to get it in. We about to bring people up and everything. So y'all go ahead, wrap it up over that debate talk for you, and y'all come on over here and Let's Talk Podcast 55. Type that in, look for the purple logo, and hit the live video and come on back into the room. With that being said, let's see if the question came up. Yeah, no, I don't see no question. So if the question comes, we'll hit it. If anything, we'll stick the link in soon, and then we'll. Oh, here it is. Oh, what is the modern woman to do if guys leave the country? Oh, okay. That's the question. Okay, that's the question.
Fair enough, Jay. Okay, let's jump right in there. What is the modern woman to do? There's a couple things. You got to realize, Jay, that some of them, not all of them, some of the women, they're some of the modern women. I always differentiate between traditional women and modern women, okay? So we're talking about the modern women. The modern women, you got to understand, some of them will not humble themselves, period, okay? They talk about that like in Isaiah chapter 3, and we know what comes after that, Isaiah chapter 4 and 1, all right? So, but what are they to do? To humble themselves and realize they don't have the leverage. They don't. They have to humble themselves, and they have to say, you know what? What is it? Now, to answer your question directly, what is it, though? They have to ask themselves, what is it that these other women from these other countries are offering that I'm not offering? Figure that out and then offer that. That's what they have to do, Jay. That's what they have to do. They have to figure out, okay, this man is willing to go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 miles around the world to meet a woman. I'm right here in his backyard. So what is it that they have that I don't have? What is that she's offering that I don't? Wait a minute. I'm educated. I make my own money. I have my own car. I have all of. Okay, and he's still leaving. Then obviously that's not what he wants. That's not what the guy wants. So you have to figure out what is it about these other women. Okay, talking about the modern woman. She has to figure out what is it about the other women that these men are willing to get on planes to go meet them and do that. That's what she has to do.
Now, what about the traditional woman? That's what he's saying. Now, this what I think what he means by this is I saw some videos with women coming out, and this is what the women are saying. They're saying they're going out to clubs and they're going out to parties, and men are not approaching them. And they're actually getting mad at women and saying, what y'all done did? These men don't want to talk to us. I'm submissive. I'm all the things he like. But they won't even talk to me. What do you say to the traditional women who are kind of just blown in the wind because they're getting, I guess, drowned by the modern women rhetoric, so to speak?
I couldn't agree with you more with the way you phrase that. They are getting drowned out. So one, don't do what modern women do. Okay. You can't hang out where they hang out. You can't do what they do. Don't make the type of decisions that they make, and stand out, stand strong, because you're going to be called a pick me, which really means nothing, which you want to be picked to be a wife anyway. So don't do what they do, and you stand out. And then traditional women need to hang out with traditional women. Okay. If we go with, our sister Cribs and Cure, lionesses don't hang out with hyenas. Okay. So they have to be, they have to stand out. Okay. Guys have to be able to see that. Okay. So you have to move in different circles and keep your traditional values strong. And call out hyenas. If you need to call that out, because then now guys are seeing that. Guys see things in the chat. Guys see those type of things. Because we see a whole lot of videos where the hyenas are talking. Okay, they're talking. Deleting black babies and stuff, particularly if they're males and all that. We see all that, but we need to see the women who don't stand for that. We need to see the women who are not saying, oh, we don't need men, or men ain't it. Men ain't sugar, honey, iced tea. We need to see that. Got to stand out from the other women. That is to say, the modern women. Got to stand out from that.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope we answer your question, Jay. We're about to leave Debate Talk for you in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Now, I got a couple of let's see what else we got going on in here. Okay, yeah, we got to him. So what I wanted to do was, before we move on to the questionnaire, do you want to add anything else to the conversation? Because the questions are going to go into what we're talking about, but I don't know if you want to hit any more points before we move on to some of these questions that modern women have regarding passport bros.
No, because I think in our next segment, I think we're gonna jump into it, and I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah, no, don't give it all away now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not giving all of it away. We just hold them back just a little. So now this is what we're gonna do, you guys. So Debate Talk for you. We're gonna close you guys out. If y'all want to be at the overtime portion, I'll put it in the chat. Hit that link. Show Sal some love. Come on over here to Let's Talk Podcast 55. We're gonna close it out right now. And then we're going to get to the questionnaire. We got some video questions with some modern women. So we're going to go ahead and get in there. So let me pull up these questions real quick. All right. So this is the first question. So this is what we're going to do, everybody that's in there. We're going to hit the question. We're going to watch the video. Each video is like 40 seconds. And then we're going to allow Robert Reed to, give his comments, or if it's a question, answer it directly. So let's get to the first video. Here you go, Robert Reed.
This is a huge red flag. The only men who like to go overseas to find a partner is men who like to prey on vulnerable women. Because when you go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or Eastern Europe or wherever these places are that are overseas, I'm assuming you mean they're more biddable, that they're less outspoken. This is a huge red flag. The only men who like to go overseas to find a partner is men who like to prey on vulnerable women. Because when you go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or Eastern Europe or wherever these places are that are overseas, I'm assuming you mean they're more biddable, that they're less outspoken, they don't demand anything of you, that they're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity, and in return, all they have to do is subject themselves to your advances. So I do wonder at your motivation for why you want to go overseas to find a partner. Is it because you prefer your woman biddable, without opinions, unable to fight back, and vulnerable?
All right. Okay. So did you hear it, Robert Reed?
Yeah, I heard it. I had to get a little close, but yeah, I caught it.
All right, well, this is all yours. Are you going? Are you guys? What is your motives? That was her question. And she said, are you guys going over there to just basically find women that just don't talk back and don't require nothing from you guys?
Okay. Like I said, since this whole manosphere red pill space has opened up, I mean, it really, really cracked the code on this whole modern dating market. Okay. So what we hear, what I heard there is, a lot of bitterness. Now, let me just back up just a half a step. I want everyone, when we listen to these clips, okay, and Sister Christine did not share all the clips to me. We just checked the volume on it, so I didn't, I didn't listen to all of them beforehand or anything like that. We have to look for the sign language, R.I.P. Kevin Samuels, but look for the sign language. See if you hear any shame, insults, guilt, or need to be right in any of these clips that are probably going to be coming up. Now, to deal with the one that just was played, look at everything that she said. It's like, okay, well, you're going over there. I question your motivation. You're going over there because you're biddable and, you know, don't listen and all the other stuff. It's as if she's saying we need to be attracted to a woman who's argumentative, who is mean, who is, I'm like, that's not what men want, okay? So, and all these little jabs that she's taking at the foreign women, no, it's none of that. It's because they're traditional. They're raised in a traditional society. That's what it is. Men are leaving, if you want the short answer, men are leaving because they're looking for women who are more traditional. That's the short answer. That's the one that they do not want to listen to. They don't want it. It's like they don't hear it at all. And those are the things that men are attracted to. So what men are hearing when they analyze what she's saying is like, okay, so we're not supposed to be attracted to that? Or what do you mean you don't understand our motivation? The motivation is traditional women, traditional values, who care about family, unlike in the West, where it is over 50% divorce rate. 80% of the time it's initiated by the female. A man's get completely financially wrecked in the family court system. Okay, he loses half his stuff. He has to pay child support, and then he gets visitation with his child. These are the numbers that he has to. These are the numbers he has to deal with. So, oh no, don't go overseas. Deal with this in the West. Deal with those stats in the West. Like, come on, man. This it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
King said we got options out here. King said what us to accept what we don't want so bad. We got options. They're not playing out here. They're not playing.
Come on, King.
So let's go to the next video. And again, you guys, hold your questions because we're going to get to the questions shortly. We're going to put the link in the chat. I hope y'all come up. I'm seeing a lot of activity in the comment section. I want y'all to hit that link and come up, especially them sisters out there that's in that comment section. So let's get to the next video. You ready, RandomReed?
I'm ready.
All right.
What does that say about you that you have to take the time to get a passport to like go somewhere else to meet people that like you? Oh my God. What now? But really, like, what problems does that create? Creates problems for those women. They're gonna bring these women back to the States, and then the women here are gonna be like, oh, they have these amazing men.
What?
And like, if only I had been more traditional. If only I had been more subservient. If only I would have acted more like a housekeeper or slave. Then maybe I could have won that prize.
Okay, so if you didn't hear, I know. Oh yeah, it's a delay, you guys. Sorry, he has a little delay because he's out the country. So basically, in a nutshell, she says that she thinks it's hilarious and it's funny that men have to get a passport to travel to find someone to like them. She laughs about it, and then she claims this system was on it. She basically claims that, are you doing this so you can come back with your wife and somehow make women come to this epiphany that, oh my goodness, I need to be more traditional and I need to be a slave in order to get a man. What do you say to what she said?
Okay, so one, again, more shame and insults. More shame and insults. It doesn't change. That's the only song that they know, but that's okay. Here's the thing. Part of it, she's right, which is the last part of what she says. Oh, you're gonna bring women over here? Not really, but men are gonna get other women. Some of the guys are gonna bring their women back to the West, which, hey, good luck with that or whatever, because you just don't want them to become westernized. But some of them will, and they're gonna move into some of these neighborhoods. Okay, and you're gonna see the modern women, they're gonna see these men go overseas, bring women back, have families, live in homes and stuff, and be right there in their face. So she's mocking what's actually going to be true. That is going to happen. Okay. So she didn't believe that, but that is going to happen. Okay. So that, it's going to happen. But then at the same time, she wants to make it seem like, it's like, I don't understand, like, what is the inverse? Oh, why would you travel to another country just to get someone to like you or whatever? Okay, let's just take it on its face and say that, she's right. Okay, if a guy is here, no, I'm sorry, I'm in Asia. If a guy is there in the West and he's losing, he's not getting any luck. Okay, couple dates here, they don't go well, gets rejected, whatever the case may be. So what does he do? He just stays there and take it and say, hey, this is my lot in life. Let me just sit here because I don't want to travel, because I don't want the women who have rejected me, I don't want them to insult me for leaving a country to actually find a woman. Okay, so I don't understand their end game. I don't get their end game. It's like, okay, so am I supposed to just sit here and, hey, this is my lot in life, I can't get a woman, I'll just sit here. Nobody wants me here, but I dare not go somewhere else. I mean, it makes no logical sense whatsoever. Let's say he was a loser. Let's go at it on his face. Let's say he was a loser. Isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing, expecting a different result? So he said, I'm not having any luck here in the West. Let me go somewhere else. The fish are not biting in this pond. Let me go to another pond. I'm like, I don't get it. Men are their cost benefit analysis. If it's not working in one spot, you go to another spot to see if it's working. That's what you do. So it totally makes no sense. But we can go to the next clip or answer some questions.
So in the comment section, I don't see any questions. So let's go to another video and then we'll put the link in so you guys. And I want you guys to pay attention to the people I'm bringing up. I'm going to be bringing up different races, different ages, and I want y'all to pay attention to that for a reason. So let's go to the next video.
Passport bros, y'all can't catch a break, baby. I was on my way home tonight, and I heard them talking about you on 97.9. I don't know what they're saying, but I'm pretty sure they're making fun of y'all. And I look at my comments.
Looks like it's my internet, y'all.
Passport bros, y'all can't catch a break, baby. I was on my way home tonight, and I heard them talking about you on 97.9. I don't know what they're saying, but I'm pretty sure they're making fun of y'all. And I look at my comment section of every nationality, ethnicity, and country that you named. All of them are saying that they don't want you. That's got to be a hit today.
The video is tripping.
This is not.
I've been hearing a lot about this here thing called passport. I don't know, passport brothers or something like that. And I'm like, what? Yeah, y'all go right on over there and see just what you gonna get and bring back. But then you might bring back just what you want based on who you are. Because what I noticed during a period when they had something called a quote unquote mail order brides, with the white guys were all off into, those women that they brought back pretty much were just subservient, non-thinking.
So this woman, this is an older woman. She got some age on her. Now the clip said 90. I don't know if she's 90. That's what the clip said. And by the way, you guys, all the clips are going to be in the description box on YouTube, who I got it from. Check their channels out and check the full videos out. But yeah, what do you think about what she said? She said it's like mail order brides, like how the Caucasians did back in the day. Is that the same thing?
Oh my goodness. Sister Christina, this is just bad. This is comical. This really is. This is comical. None of this is going to deter any man at all. None of this. Just more shaming language. I actually caught the first one. I caught some of what she said. Oh, I'm listening to this radio station, whatever, 97 something or whatever, and they clowning you. And I heard from every country that you guys named, all cap. All that's cap. I don't believe anything she said. She didn't hear anything from any of that. That's all cap.
Yeah, she's saying, for people who didn't hear, she's basically said she heard on the radio that the passport bros are basically no one wants them there. They don't want them there. They don't need them there, and they're telling them not to come. Basically, that's what she was saying. So
these countries don't want tourism. These countries where a major part of their GDP is tourism. They don't want tourism. They don't want touristic dollars. They don't want the USD. That's what they're saying. That's their argument, right? It makes no sense whatsoever. Number two, you're talking about two women who are older, who's well past the wall, who is not in the dating market. Okay, not trying to be mean. I'm just saying they are. They're well advanced in age. No one's, they're not really in the competition or whatever. So I don't understand what their beef is. I'll put it in a more politically correct way. They have no skin in the game. So I don't understand what's their beef whatsoever. No skin in the game. Also, it is just a bunch of shame. I don't understand if these guys are men that you do not desire, what do you care if they leave? Because they can't feign concern. Oh, well, I hope you just find just be careful. I hope you find what you're looking for. I mean, they really don't. I mean, and then at the same time, I don't know if you've been catching it. At the same time, the women from other countries are not clapping back at the passport bros. They're clapping back at the women because they're saying they're disenfranchised, they're taken advantage of, they're uneducated, they don't speak the language, blah, blah. They're saying all this other stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they're trying to crush the passport bros and it's not working, but now they're insulting foreign women, and now they're making the news. Like over in Thailand, they're making the news that they're looking at. They have American Black women on the Thailand news talking trash about Asian women, and they're upset, and they're making tons of TikToks about it. So so whatever they're trying to do, I don't get it. It's not working. It's backfiring. It's completely backfiring. And then they want to say that one other point we move on is that they have all this smoke for the passport bros, but they have no smoke for the women with passport that go to the Caribbean, that go to the DR, that go to Jamaica and rent a dread. They have no smoke for that. I don't understand. So it's okay and it's empowering if a woman grab her passport, go over to a tropical country or whatever, and be with men and just have how Stella got her groove back, or go read that book, The Pursuit of Happiness, when it's a study on women going abroad, sleeping with men, and nobody has any smoke for that. But they got all this smoke for passport bros. I don't get it. I just see hypocrisy. But we can continue.
All right, so we got one more video, and then after this video, RandomReed, do you want to start bringing some people up to ask you any questions they got?
Absolutely, sure.
All right, so I'm going to put the link in the chat, you guys. We're going to play one more video, and then we're going to put the link in the chat. Hit the chat. If you guys want to come up and ask his brother any questions, got any comments, he's here for the smoke. He's ready for the smoke, y'all. He's ready for the smoke.
Sister Christina, I had one more thing.
Yes.
One last thing is that also these comments are made by people who have not traveled abroad.
Okay.
So
y'all heard what the brother said. Y'all heard what the brother said. Okay. He ready for y'all. Hit that link. Okay, we're gonna play one more video, and y'all hit the link in the comment section if y'all want to add to the conversation. But let's go to one more video.
Okay, so a comment on my video sent me down a rabbit hole I don't ever want to go down again. Passport bros are real? There's this group of like 7 Black men on TikTok with like passports and saying they're going to other countries to find more submissive women. No. Do they not know they're gonna be Black everywhere they go?
Stop it. Get some help.
Like an African American everywhere they go? Wait, where are these other countries? Are they going anywhere in Europe? Probably not. Oh, their men is...
I don't know what's going on. I think my internet is just acting wonky. I'm worried about your internet. It looks like it's my internet. But I'll just wrap up what she said. She basically said they're going to these other countries as if they're forgetting that they're Black. So they think they're going to go to these countries. This is what she said. She said so they think they're going to go to these other countries and forgetting that they Black. So I guess she's trying to say all these countries people go to, you Black. So why you trying to go there? And she insinuates, the link is in the chat, you guys. Y'all check these people videos. She insinuates like there's some kind of predator. She was like saying, oh, they're looking for girls and women in these countries that are more lenient to certain things, if you know what I mean. So it sounds like she's trying to insinuate that these men are traveling to these other countries so that they can mess with little girls and women. And I guess, I don't know, traffic them. I don't know where she's going with it, but yeah.
Right. It's more it's the same thing. Shaming language again. I heard the part where she was talking about oh well, don't they know when they go to these countries, that they're still black. See, she's assuming that the way black men are treated in the West is the same way they'll be treated everywhere. Again, what was my last statement? My last statement was, you're talking people making comments who have never traveled abroad. Okay, I'm here in the Philippines. I walk down the street and people are saying hi and smiling. And hey, where are you from? I'm from the U.S. Oh, hey, U.S., my friend, all that other stuff. So that's what I'm getting. That's the treatment that I'm getting. Okay, very, very nice people. Same thing with a lot of other passport bros. Again, you're talking about women, those women on the videos, talking about women who have not traveled. Okay, they have this. They think that these other women have experienced the same trauma that they have experienced. Okay, so for the past 60 years, the black man was the poster child of deadbeat dads, things like that. And a study, CDC showed that's not true. Again, with the facts, data, and statistics, but that's not true. In fact, it says that black fathers are the most involved of the fathers. But that aside, so the black man, he's not nothing. He's broke. He's poor. He's dusty. He's this and that. Da da da. She thinks, or they think, that's the same programming or trauma response that other women in other countries would have for the black man, and it's nothing of the sort. It's none of that. That's just simply not true. And then for some reason they throw in, oh well, you're not going like to Europe and for what? It's just like the West. Those are not traditional women there for the most part. Those are not traditional women there. None of the men are going to go to any country where feminism is running rampant. Period. Why? For what? That's not what they want. So I don't understand. Shaming men into something that they don't want makes no sense. But we can continue.
All right. So we got two people up on the chat. Who you want to hear from first, Valerie?
Okay, let's see.
We got two up on the chat.
We can. Reese Roberts, she been in here for a long time, so go ahead and let her in there.
All right, Reese. So go ahead, girl. The floor is yours. Question, comment. Let's do this.
Hey, you guys. Nice conversation. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Shalom.
So the question I want to pose is about the challenge of a woman. Because when we have this conversation about a woman being more meek and mild and tender and submissive overseas, I think it is a slap in the face to a sister because we've had not had the ability or the luxury of having those types of attitudes towards life. For a brother to abandon us because we have become hard and callous or sort of masculine because of the conditions of all of our upbringings and all of our conditioning over here in the West, it just to me speaks to weakness because it tells me that the man is not up to the challenge of figuring out how himself can adjust to his environment and the conditions that he and his woman have been subject to, instead of just running from the situation to go find less of a challenge. So the situation in my mind is more of a cultural thing, less of a feminine versus masculine thing, because we've all suffered the hands of oppression and the like I said, social conditioning, the things that have sort of victimized our entire community, men and women alike. Women have not run from this, but our men are showing us signs that they are running from it, not wanting to deal with the effects of the very communities that they've been a part of and contributed to for the last several centuries and of course decades. So I'm not necessarily clear about why a man would be justified in those type of actions, just picking up and leaving, and then having the nerve to call a woman masculine after she has been raped and beaten and downtrodden and limited and all these other things, having her man taken away from her. Not that she kicked him out, her man was taken from her in several ways, systemically and intentionally. And so for her to be slapped in the face and told that she's not this and she's not that. It seems very, much like an insult.
Now, before you answer that, Robert Reed King, I see your comment. The link is in the chat. Just hit the link and you can come right up. Just hit the link and you can come right up. So yes, it's on you, Reed. You want to answer the sister?
Yeah, sure. Well, one, I have to disagree with almost everything she said, because she said that it's more of a, like, they're just cutting and running and things like that. But I beg to differ. I think the black man has been dealing with it for the past 60 years, since the 60s. He's been dealing with it because why? They have the most suicide, most suicides, most disenfranchised, mass incarceration, and the list goes on and on and on. The black men have suffered from those effects. And then she says, well, the men have been taken away. Yeah, in some respects, but then also our own sisters, our own the women who share our image, our own sisters have given up on us. Think about it. The other races, the men are the leaders of their community. Only the black race is seen as the women are the leaders of our community. Okay, why is that? Because when you go back 60 years or so, whatever, and you give the government programs and things like that, and of course you can't get the government programs if the man is in the house. They chose, our sisters, they chose the government programs. And then in the 70s, when feminism came around or whatever, we know that was the white woman's plight, and then the black woman joined in on it, and now the black woman is almost like the face of it right now. So
how is that a choice for us?
What do you mean it's a choice? They chose the handout.
No, I'm just asking, how was it a choice for us? Because our men were taken away to war. We didn't have, that was not our choice.
No, that part wasn't your choice, but the choice of taking.
But that's what happened. Okay. They went away to war. That's where the government benefits came from. They were gone.
Okay.
Literally gone, physically gone. They were taken, drafted.
Okay, one, that's not all men. Two, what about the 70s?
No, not all of them. But what I'm saying is, we're talking about categoric.
Hold on, Reese. Let him answer what you was, and then you could go. You can finish, Reese. What you were saying, Reese?
Okay, so yeah, let me finish. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you're talking about one instance. You're saying, okay, war, and then you're making that you're making that the issue for the past 60 years, when that is not. Okay, that's not the issue for the past 60 years. That started something off, in war. But there's other things, like you said, there's incarceration. Okay, then also when you look at the black family and stuff, is busted up. Period. It is busted up because of the programming. The programming of, think about it, the only woman on the planet who's independent, don't need a man, the sister.
So that was the reason why they got incarcerated.
And so the men we have to deal with that. No, ma'am. Let me finish.
Incarceration don't have nothing to do with us either.
She's the poster child for that. I understand. Okay, ma'am. The busting up of the home, that is on you. That is on the sisters. If 80% of the time they are the one initiating the divorce. Now, I know that all too familiar refrain is going to be, oh, he was abusive, or oh, he was this and that. Okay, abuse cannot be the number one reason for a divorce. Okay, we all know it's not that. We know it's irreconcilable differences. Okay, so we know that's like the number one right there, especially when you have the advent of no fault divorce. Because before that, you had to prove that he did something wrong to you. But now you don't even have to prove that. So the divorce, that's your fault. The having have multiple baby daddies, that's your choice. Carrying before you marry, that's your choice. That's your choice.
No, I don't understand how a person can say
before you are married,
these things are the fault.
Is that your choice? If you
hold on, ask a question. Hold on, Reese. He's gonna ask you a question, and then Reese, you answer. Ask the question again, Reed.
Okay. If you get pregnant before you get married, is that your choice?
Okay, Reese. Answer. He asked you a question.
Depends on the circumstances.
Okay. Then I guess we're not gonna get
people get pregnant for all different kinds of, under certain circumstances. If I get raped, no, that's not my fault. If I was drugged, like that has happened to me by a bunch of black men.
Again, Is that what normally happens?
Hold on, Reese. Let her finish answering, and then you can respond.
Right. Well, like I said, you want to generalize when it's convenient for your point, and then you want to specify when it's convenient for your point. So we're talking either generally or we're talking specifics. In general, you have circumstances under which women get pregnant. We all know that women's vaginas are targets to victimize them. And there are several situations where a woman's vagina can become victimized to make her impregnated. So what I'm saying is that it depends on whether or not that woman was under a circumstance in which she could have avoided becoming pregnant before being married, or she could not have. Because it's very well known that there are conditions under which she may not have been able to prevent that.
Okay, Reese, what were you, Robert? What were you saying?
Again, she's arguing from an extreme. I'm talking about in general because that's what happens most of the time. Any of us can take an exception to just about any rule and just to try to make our point and we could take any antidote and then
Right,
try
but
to
that's the
make it.
reason why I asked for
Hold on, Reese.
your
Let him finish.
specificity there is because if we're talking specifics, then that's what I'm trying to clarify so that I could put my answer into context in general or in specific. Because if we're talking about in general, then there are implications on both parties if a woman gets pregnant before she's married. She's not impregnating herself, is she?
Okay, Reese. What I'm saying is that in general, when people have sex, is a crime being committed? You're talking about rape and drugs. I'm
Sometimes
sorry
yes,
to use that.
sometimes
Hold on,
no.
let him
Okay.
finish, and then
No.
you can respond. So then
Come.
we're gonna go to Vinny.
Okay. Okay. Then
Yeah,
then I'm
you can
sorry.
answer,
We
and then we're
can't.
gonna go to Vinny.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Vinny. Okay. Let's go to Vinny because we can't have a serious conversation if we know if her position is, well, when people have sex, sometimes a crime is committed, sometimes it's not. No, I'm talking in general. That way everyone can understand. Okay. We understand that sexual crimes can be committed and sexual crimes are committed, but is that what we're talking about? No, we're talking about relationships. And so my question was, when a woman gets pregnant before she is married, talking about no crime is being committed, is that her choice or not? Okay.
That's
Now,
what I'm saying. It's
most
a
of the
choice
time,
of both parties.
any sane thinking person would be like, okay, in general, yes, no crime has been committed. It's her choice whether or not she
I'm
wants
not
to see.
denying that. I'm saying it's both the decision of both people. So I haven't denied what you're saying. I'm giving you the answer that I'm coming to you with is that it's for both the responsibility of both people in that situation. If they're in a relationship,
I
it's
didn't
not
ask
a
about. We
fault
didn't
of a
ask about the
person.
responsibility.
It's not right.
We
It's not
didn't.
a fault
I
of
didn't
a
ask about the
person.
responsibility.
Right. I'm answering your question. It's not a fault of a person if they get pregnant before they're married. It's a decision that was mutual.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's go to. Do you want to add anything to that, Reed? And then we're gonna go to Vinny, and then Reese will give you some time after we get to Akeem and Vinny. You want to respond to anything, Reed, and then we'll go to Vinny and Akeem.
No, I'm gonna choose not to. Let's go ahead and go to Vinny real quick.
All right, Vinny, you on the stage. What's good? I see you in the chat. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Yo. Peace to everybody. Shalom to the room. Uh, hey, what's up, Sister Reese? What's up,
Right.
Brother Robert? Uh, we was
Shalom.
we used to do some social show on Debate Talk for you a while back. But yeah, good to hear y'all voice again. I think it's an interesting conversation. I mean, I see Sister Reese's point, but I do think that like ultimately, when it comes down to like laying down with people, I think we kind of been destroyed by the Western mindset, and the family structure has been kind of like destroyed. Everybody is kind of on a selfish pattern now. I think we had a discussion about this in one of those shows back in the day, where it was uh, some serious points made about the black family and how nobody thinks about being a family anymore. It's like everybody has this mission on. Everybody wants to make money, you know, and the mind state is just westernized. Um, but I will say that like with the passport brother situation, um, I, I I meet a lot of guys who uh, who have very hard times dealing with our people. Let's just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that we grew up around, because they have, man, I don't know what it is, man. It's like the music we listen to, the television shows we listen to. You know, they're kind of growing up to not only be over sexualized, but also have this mentality of this feminist perspective. And I think that that's destroying the family, because there is no order anymore. Everybody's the head, you know, and the line is just really, really blurred. So when these brothers go across the seas, you know, and then they get them a wife that's maybe like their grandmother, or maybe even like their mother. They see how these women are, how they want to rear the household. You know, it's kind of an attraction, you know. And I think that going about it by, you know, demonizing these brothers just for wanting that type of a relationship when they can't find it out here is, I don't think that's the most positive thing to do. I think that what we should do is just focus on our community, man, and start raising these kids right, and get back to the way that we used to be. Because I'll go ahead and yield after this point, but I have this cousin, and she's a Muslim cousin. She came over from Kenya, and you know, she covers up. She dresses in the full hijab with her head covered and everything. So when she came over here, you know, she was trying to you know, she was talking about we was talking about the culture and everything. And my sister, she's kind of a feminist type of, you know, happy-go-lucky type of lady. So we're all sitting down having a conversation, and my sister is looking at her hijab, and she's like, "Oh man, you guys must feel so oppressed, you know, because you got to cover yourself up all the time." And then she looked at my sister and she was like, "Nah, we look at you guys like you guys are oppressed because everybody's over sexualized and you feel like you got to show your body, you know, just to kind of like fit in." So I think that that plays a big part into the mentality of how our women are thinking over here. And I think that it leads to the brothers going over there trying to look for companionship that they're not getting over here. So I think it's both of our parties, our parts. We both play a role, male and female alike. You know, and then we just have to end it, man. We have to stop all the nonsense and then try to get back to the way that we used to be. And I know, coming from a biblical perspective, I follow the brother Robert Reed, and I like what he's doing, especially in terms of community. At least what we chatted a little bit about when we were on the phone with Sal a while ago. You know, like with the Pastor Dow situation and everything,
Yeah.
our community type thing like that. But you know, I just think we need to get back to that way, you know, so that we can you know, we really need to reshape these minds out here, because we whooped and we're losing. You know, we're losing big time. And I'll go ahead and yield.
All right, Reed, you want to respond to that? Queen Real, I'm gonna get to you, but I want to get to Akeem first, okay? So, Reed, you want to respond to that? Then we're gonna go to Akeem.
Yeah, no, I like, I like everything that he was saying, that, that their brother was saying, because I believe he's right. I believe he's right. It's just it's out there, and if we want to switch to anecdotal things, you look at these guys, they're having a hard time back at home. So it's not running or anything. It's because they have dealt with the issue, and you can't it's like a no-win situation. You're fighting something to where you're severely disadvantaged, right? It's like I don't know. It's like America's like one of the seats of power of feminism. A man is at the mercy of the system. Period. He's at the mercy of the system. And so when he says, "Okay, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I'm gonna go somewhere else," I mean, that is just the best way of doing it. So you don't have to be a victim, because you're at disadvantage, okay? Because like biblically, the brother brought up the Bible. Biblically, we're supposed to be the leaders, supposed to be the patriarchs and things like that. But if there is nothing you can do or say with to your woman to kind of maintain order in your home, then who's really in charge? Because you can just be accused of something. You don't have to do anything. You can just be accused of something, and the guy can get wrecked. You can be married. You can get divorced, which 80% of the time is probably not going to be him filing. You can get divorced, lose half your stuff. You can lose custody of your children. You can pay child support. Who has all the power? So there is no advantage for a man to stay and work on it here, there in the West. There's like no advantage, period. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, well, just stick around, just stay. It's gonna get better. Hey, yeah, we all got lives. When is it gonna get better? How much of a headache do I have to deal with? I'm sorry for the trauma, but guess what? The black man has trauma too. He's just choosing to deal with it a different way, period. Now, we're not saying, oh, we don't need black women. We don't want black women. It's just that America isn't the only place with black women in it. Okay, we can go all over the world. There's black women. I'm in the Philippines. There's a couple of black women here too. Okay, people forget about Buffalo Soldiers and stuff like that. Got stationed over here. Now there's some over here too. So yeah, I understand there has been trauma, but guess what? We all have to go deal with our trauma. Okay, guys, we can't afford to sit around and cry and yeah, well, we can't afford to do that. We have to get on our grind. We have to keep serving the Most High. We got to keep building ourselves. We got to keep moving forward. We can't, and we have limited years on this planet. Okay, so we don't have time to keep doing the same thing. You're talking about some guys who built themselves back up after being wrecked. So you're supposed to go through that again? But we can go ahead.
All right. So again, we're going to get to Reese and everybody else, but I just want to give everybody a chance to speak. And remember, Akeem, Queen Real, when you guys speak, let's try to allow each other to talk and let each other answer each question. Because remember, people are watching, and I want them to be able to make a calculated decision and understanding on the topic at hand. So we can't do that if we're cutting people off or over talking. So let's try our best to let each other finish each sentence. So Akeem, the floor is yours. Any questions, comments?
Yes. Shalom to everybody on the panel. So I have a unique perspective because I got a military background. So I done seen various countries. I done been to various countries, seen different cultures and how men are treated, right? Particularly black men, since that's the premise of the discussion here. And it's a clear difference how we're treated abroad than how we're treated at home. Now, the argument, well, not even the argument, but just the perspective. I don't like the perspective of the passport brothers who bash our black sisters, right? And I don't like the feminist sisters bashing passport bros because they choose to go abroad. From what I've seen from my personal experience, right? Obviously, things tend to change if you're looking at it from a purely biblical perspective, because the biblical perspective is the Easternized perspective, not the Westernized perspective. But when you look at it from as a whole, like a whole picture, right? Like brother Reed, he hit the money on the head. You know what I'm saying? The men aren't choosing to run away. We're not fleeing. What they're doing is they've been fighting a battle and not winning. If you continuously fight a battle, you lose the war, right? And consistently doing the exact same thing, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. So if an individual chooses to say, you know what, I've done my time, I put my time in, it's time for me to go ahead and get my passport, I'm gonna go abroad. And if I happen to find someone who meets my qualities, meets my standards, meets the things that I want to see in a wife, and I marry her, there's nothing wrong with that. But then it's on the flip side, there's nothing wrong with a man choosing to stay in the United States and deal with it. I've heard people praise brothers when they marry a black woman and they say, well, I appreciate you, bro, because you didn't leave and go somewhere else. This whole passport bro conversation, it's really similar for me when I hear it to probably about 5, 10, 15 years ago, when there was a big uproar in the black community, when black men were starting to date outside the race, like heavily, right? They were dating white women, they were dating Hispanic women, they were dating Asian women and different European women. And it was a problem then, just like it's a problem now. But when a man is trying his best to navigate and figure out how to make the situation work within his race, and it doesn't, and then he chooses to go elsewhere, that's not necessarily a sign of weakness. That's just him trying to, at the end of the day, listen, we have to go to work We have to deal with the racism, the oppression, you know what I'm saying, the systematic, everything that we deal with outside our walls. At the end of the day, and I'm sure every man on this panel can attest to this. At the end of the day, when we come home, we want peace. We want shalom. We can't go out and fight the world and then come home and fight with our spouse just for something that naturally comes from some of these other cultures who were trained and brought up in such a way to uplift the man and not bring him down. I'm not tripping off of the trauma. I understand our sisters have been put through the ringer. A lot of them don't know no better. It's how they were raised. That's how they seen their mom and their aunts and their grandparents act. And so that systematic indoctrination to be hard, to be callous, to be more masculine, we understand that. But it's not like we were like not putting any effort or work into it. We trying, we working it. You got brothers that I done been dating black women my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been dating black women my whole life. You know, all praise to the Most High. I married a black woman, but if that didn't work, I told my wife a long time ago. I said, when we got together, I said, you saved me a ticket, because I was gonna go to the DR on some honesty. You know what I mean? I told her she saved me a ticket. You know what I mean? Because she's black, but she's mixed black and Dominican. So she laughs at it, but I was serious. You know what I mean? But I get the argument on both sides. I think that whatever you choose, there should be no negative recourse, and there should just be understanding and accept the person's decision. If you choose to continue to just date only within your race, all praises. If you choose to go abroad, all praises. That's all I got to say.
Okay, so Randy, we're gonna get to you, but I want to get to Queen Real first. We just got a few more minutes, you guys. So let's try to keep the questions or comments about a minute or so, because we got about 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna give our high value Hebrew an opportunity to close out the show and answer any other questions in the comments. So let's go to Queen Real. You got about a minute to give your comment or ask your question, and then we'll go to Randy. You're on mute, Queen Real. You gotta unmute yourself.
I'm not catching on with a lot of stuff y'all was talking about. I'm sorry, because I'm just popping in about internet keep kicking me out. So will somebody catch me up on something?
Yeah. So basically, what we're talking about is the passport bros leaving the country to go look for what they're looking for in a woman. And I guess Reed's standpoint is kind of like, we should be here working it out and, getting our families together. And the brothers are like, we tired, so we out. Pretty much.
That's deep.
So yeah, you got any questions? You want to comment, or you got any questions towards that?
Yeah, I got agree with some of it, but you can't expect for a black man to hear someone that say they love a person and then break them down and sit through it. Understand, go through trauma, but they can either choose to deal with it or not deal with it. Really, they don't have to deal with it. Deal with it because they love that person, not the trauma. I mean, vice versa, but you can't expect someone to change their preference just because you don't like how they're living it. I mean,
so you're in agreement with the passport bros packing it up? If that's what they
hold on, I didn't hear that one.
Are you in agreement with the passport bros packing it up and saying, I'm out? I'm out of here.
I mean, I'm not gonna cap you. If I was a man dealing with that, I wouldn't even tell us nothing. I'll leave. If you don't see what I'm showing you now, why would I have to tell you when I leave and do what I want to do? But you see, when I leave, you see what I'd rather do. I'm just saying.
So she's saying if she was a dude, she's saying deuces.
If I was one, I wouldn't even kick dust at her. I'd leave. If I'm telling you up front with my actions, I'm showing you you're worth to me. I'm just saying. And you're constantly breaking me and tearing me down. I choose to go do what I want. I'm just saying, if I was a man, I would choose to do what I want because I choose to not to hurt you. But you wouldn't understand that because you're selfish to not look at my needs. If so, I would not be doing what I want to do. You would be worried about what I want to do. You would worry about me. So most men get neglected a lot on that part. And some females think that some men don't deserve it, so they don't show that a lot. So they go elsewhere because that's where they feel needed the most at.
All
I
right.
mean,
Thank you, Queen
it is
Real.
what it is.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. Like I said, we got like really ain't got no more minutes, but I got to get to Randy. So go ahead. The floor is yours. Thank you, Queen Real, for that. And of course, I'm gonna get you Reese, get you like a minute or so to say your final words. But let me get to Randy. The floor is yours.
Shalom. My question is really for Miss Roberts, because me personally, I'm a female that was born and raised in Texas. My mom's American. My stepdad was a Nigerian, so I was raised by somebody that's from a different country. So I tend to operate a little bit more traditional, but I also went through all the traumas that most of us American Black females go through. I'm talking SA at an early age. I'm talking physical abuse, a father that wasn't in the home. I dealt with all that, and I was a very volatile human for quite a while. But for me, I found that it was important for me to go and get the mental help that I needed. So I sought therapy. I sought the help that I needed to calm myself down before I married my husband. Now, I am a monogamous woman that is married to a polygynous man. So my husband has more than one wife. But my question for Miss Roberts is, I know she leans a little bit more towards the extremes when she talks. So if you're so worried about these women that have been through so much finding a good man, why come your stance isn't to direct those women as to how to fix themselves, how to heal themselves, how to find better for themselves so that they can attract these men that they want before these men end up in different countries, marrying people from different countries, or joining a family if they choose to be in a polygynous family with a man that they or that you deem is a good man?
Well, I'm glad you asked because my concern isn't necessarily about the women having a man. My concern really is more so about a balanced conversation. And so the reason why I speak in the terms that I speak in, because, my goal when I was speaking earlier was to figure out, are we talking about extremes or not? Like I said, are we talking about generalizations or are we talking about specific circumstances? Because what I believe is that men and women have their fair share of healing and growth to do. So I don't think that there should be a blame factor here. And what I hear a lot of time in these gender war conversations is an unproductive blaming of this Black woman who didn't do this and didn't do that and could have done this without any conversation being directed towards the role of a man in a community when all of us have been subjected to the same involuntary traumas and conditioning that we've all been subject to. So I think it just is a tragedy to pin blame on a woman when taking no blame for yourself, if that's the blame game that you want to play. I think it's more productive for our community to say that if there is a problem, that we need to look at the true enemy. The brother and the sister are not enemies of each other. We are enemies to our oppressors. So when we have these conversations that say, the sister is to blame. She should have known to not have a child before she was a certain age, or she should have known not to have a child or open her legs and all these other things. When this woman's legs were being pried open by somebody, and then in a lot of situations, her home was being systemically torn down. And her man was being whisked away, or whatever the case. Like someone said in the comments, our men were on opioids when they came back. A Black woman had too much on her plate at that moment to deal with a man that came home from war on crack.
I can
So
understand that, but I believe that we were having today was surrounding the current environment of our nation. And currently, most of our men, I'm not going to say all, but most of our men are not addicted to drugs, especially when we're dealing in a high value man or a high value Hebrew man. They don't touch drugs. Most of them don't touch alcohol. Most of them value their body above everything else. So they're not putting any substances in there that should not be in there.
right, you're talking about a subculture of people, and I agree that, but there are subcultures everywhere.
Yes, but
We have groups of Black women who are just the same as that.
exactly. And those women tend to end up with those men.
Right. I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is that when we had, like I said, these conversations where the black woman in a whole, I haven't heard brother Reed talking about the subcultures of women who are worthy. I mean, like I'll just have to speak for myself. Me being a woman who has gone through the phases of life, just being a human being, going from being a young, inexperienced teenager, having to go through the growing pains of life, having to learn womanhood, having to learn from my social cues, having to figure out who I am as a person. What is my passion? What is my value? What is my purpose in life? I mean, we all have to go through that. I didn't have any value before I figured all that stuff out.
But
I was a kid. So I mean,
he
Is
separates
it Randy answer? What
subsection.
were you saying, Randy?
He definitely separates the subsections of women, and you'll hear him when he speaks. He'll say, "I'm not speaking about traditional women,"
okay.
or
I haven't heard that. I'm sorry. I haven't heard him say that.
several times today, "I'm not speaking about traditional women," and that's him separating those who have the same values as our ancestors did, as our foremothers did, who carry themselves in a way that is reputable, from those of us who are a little less a little less and who don't really value themselves as much as they should. But
That's everywhere. That's not just
no,
women.
no,
That's
that's
everybody.
and you'll hear him, he'll make a difference in men too. He'll say high value men versus pookies and ray rays, or he'll say traditional women versus hyenas or modern women or whatever
Hmm.
he chooses to call them, because he a little goofy. But I did hear you ask, or I heard you say that you haven't heard him speak about the role of a man in this society that he speaks of. So I'm a pause for a second, and I'm gonna ask him, Brother Reed, what is, in your opinion, what is the role of a man?
I think the role of a man is to, build him. To start off, a young man has to build himself up. Okay, he has to create his value. He has to be strong mentally, he has to be strong physically, emotionally, and going through the trials and tribulation of life. That's what gets him there. When he gets through trauma, the battle scars are attractive on a man. They're not necessarily attractive, not necessarily attractive on a woman. That's how we become something. You have to go through something, and as he gets into um, his formidable years, say 18 to when he starts getting into like his 30s, he starts to figure out who he is. He starts to figure out what career he's going to have. And I'm speaking in general terms. And then when he figures out, who he wants to be, he figures out, hey, I want to have a legacy. I want to, carry on my last name. He is to protect. He is to provide. He is to lead. He is to, being on the Hebrew side, he is to serve the Most High. He is supposed to do that. He's supposed to be that foundation, that rock in his family when he decides to do that. That's what he should be doing. If he's not doing that, then, he needs to keep working on himself until he's able to do that.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, I just want to, because I don't want to close it out like this. I really want to get, but you guys got to come on now. 30 seconds. We need y'all to wrap it up because we got to get to Robert's last point of view. So Reese, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to close up your final thought, and we'll go to Vinny, and then Queen Real, and then Rainy.
Okay, I appreciate it. So all I'm going to say is I think that again, our conversations need to be more inclusive of all of our subcultures. We have a lower class of men and women. We have a upper class of men and women. And I think that there's always a scale where the lower class is fighting to become more upper class so that we can improve ourselves and better ourselves. So our men getting to a point where they want to share our traumas or share their traumas with a sister, but then once they become built up, so to speak, or once they become successful, then they feel like, oh no, this black woman is not, she's too ghetto for me. I'm gonna get a passport. As soon as I get enough money to get a passport, I'm out of here. But all the time you're struggling and all the time you are a Pookie and Ray Ray, then we're okay. But when you're not a Pookie or a Ray Ray no more, now you got to leave us alone because we're too much for you. We're just too below your standards. You can't go and find one of us that's good enough. And I digress after that.
Okay, Rainey, your last 30 seconds, final words.
I mean, I've enjoyed this chat. I think it was very informative. But for me, I think, like I said, we can't deal in extremes. We do have to, like you said, there are different subcultures of people, period, not just men or women. But I mean, at the end of the day, we as women cannot expect men who are of a certain standards and hold themselves to a certain standard to be with any and everybody just because they're a black female. There's got to be a bigger standard than that.
All right, and Queen Real, your 30 seconds. Your final statements.
I'm just gonna say peace and blessings to everybody's decision, but I believe that you should work on your traumas before you get to the next person. That's a lot when another person is dealing with it. It takes a role as tuning you down a lot and seeing your mate suffer. That's a lot. I believe that you should fix yourself before you step into something different. That old bleeding do not heal open sore. Just what my belief is.
Thank you, thank you.
So peace and bless to everybody that go through anything in their life. They guide themselves in the right place.
Thank you, Queen Real. And last one, Vinny, give your last 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, and peace to you, sis. Thank you for having me up, voice my opinion. Peace to everybody on the panel. Brother Robert Reed, also Sister Reese. It was good to hear you guys again. Yeah, man, we just got a lot of work to do on ourselves. It's a never ending battle, man. I think that most of these guys and women, we look for looking putting up in all the wrong places. You know what I mean? We need to restructure our mindset, and it all starts with us and how we raise our kids, man. We got to raise our kids the way that we need it to be. Personally, I think that we need to get back to Bible, but not everybody agrees with that. But I think that yeah, we definitely need a set of ordered regimen on how we should do things and how to keep order. But I think this is a great conversation. I think more of these need to happen, just so we can iron a lot of this stuff out. And you guys have a blessed night.
Now, Vinny, before you go,
Uh-huh.
make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.
Oh, I already did, sis.
Yay!
Of course.
Hey,
Yay!
listen. I'm gonna mute you for 1 second. I want you to know that's why we have Let's Talk podcast, because what we figured was we have a lot of biblical Bible believing people, right? And then we have this secular world, right? So we got these two groups. We got the secular, we got our Bible believers, right? And we deal with our issues in two separate lanes. So the Bible people deal with it this way, and the secular people deal with it this way. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, we need to talk, because we're all dealing with that. We got baby mamas, baby daddies. We traveling outside the state. We dealing with health issues. Our parents are overweight. We overweight. Like, it's so many things we're dealing with, single parents, and we got Bible believers and secular people. So I just said, you know what? If we could have a platform, we can come together and let's talk about these issues. I believe that we'll be able to move forward. Our voice can be heard, and we can start make some changes. And like you said, it's all about the children. Hopefully the children can learn something from this. But Vinny, thank you again for coming. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I appreciate you subscribing, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right, Robert Reed.
Hey.
Man, what a show. What a show.
What a show. I love the diversity of thought. I really do. I love it.
So what I want to know is, okay, so I'm not trying to harp back on it, but I feel like this was a real. I got to bring it up because it was contentious for a little bit, so I got to do it. So the point that Reese was making, do you understand the point that she was making?
Yeah, I do get the point. I don't agree with the point, but I get the point.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of people speak like that, say things like, why are you going to go out to another country? I've heard people say, you got so many women here. Sometimes it's more women here than these countries that they go to. So I hear a lot of that. Not just that, you can hear the trauma in her voice, and you can hear the trauma in a lot of sister voices saying, look, this is what we've been through. And now you're trying to pack up and leave. And you're saying, because it's our fault. Just to give you another chance to just kind of dive into that. What would you like to say about that before we close the show tonight?
Right. Oh, well, I appreciate that. A lot of it, I think there's a lot of, and again, I just disagree with her point. There's nothing against her personally. I don't know her personally. I just disagree with her point. I think there's a lot of goalpost moving because, again, I try to be very, very clear in what I'm talking about, especially when I bring out, facts and data and statistics and things like that. It's that's general. That's going to be general. And so every point that's made when someone is like, well, introduce an extreme, or every point you made is that, oh, but that's everybody. Oh, but that's everything. Oh, but what about the men? And then they, try to hide it under, the balance and things like that. No. That right there, there's already an extreme imbalance. And what I mean by that, if we look at all the shows, you go back to the 90s all the way up until now, you had your Ricky Lakes, your Sally Jesse Raphaels, your Oprah Winfrey's, you had all these spaces where when you got the View Now, the Talk, Red Table, all this, you have all these platforms where the female voice was heard. We've heard about, the Black woman's trauma forever, okay? And they've always had a voice as far as on these platforms. There's always been a voice. Only recently, over the last 10 years, where you really had a manosphere, where you hear the man's voice. And I think when men speak up and they talk about their trauma, I think it's very, very triggering. Because for the most part, women, okay, you know what? I don't want to say that. Men, when they talk about their trauma, a lot of the times they feel unheard. Okay, so that's why you have this manosphere. And as far as people thinking that, oh, well, guys are talking trash about women when they go abroad and all that, I don't think that is the case. When you look at the early videos of Passport Bros and things like that, it wasn't about trash talking. I'm not saying there was none. Okay, there was a little bit, but is a guy coming out of his trauma. But for the most part, it was just guys talking to other guys saying, hey, go grab your passport. You can get better results. You don't have to go get game. You don't have to be a part of the hookup culture. You can rebuild your family because you got destroyed, things like that. It was men talking to men. There are groups right now where they're guys talking to guys, just talking about, their experience and stuff like that. Not bashing women whatsoever. But I think a lot of things is triggering because of implication. And when I brought up bashing, sometimes I would like some people to define bashing. Because if I say, well, you know what? I get better results when I go overseas. Who did I bash? I didn't bash anyone. I just said I get better results when I go somewhere else. And that's where a lot of that comes from. And speaking of that, I'll land this plane with this. I've been in situations, I've been in relationship with traditional women, and I've been in a relationship with modern women. I can say, now I'm being very specific, I can say relationship with traditional women is 100% better. It is better for your peace. It's better for your health. It's better for you mentally and emotionally. I'm sorry about, all the trauma, but I like Brother Benny said, we don't want to come home and argue. I don't want to come home and be challenged on everything that I say. I want to relax. I just went out. I was just working. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to secure our future. I'm trying to take care of our retirement. I'm trying to do all these other things. I don't have time to come home and argue. I don't want to argue. So my point is, I've been in, especially before I became into the truth, the scriptures, been in relationship with modern, it's the same thing, okay? They have their traumas, okay? I get it. That's unfortunate. They have their traumas. They have all the pushback. They have all the arguing. They have all the, going back and forth. They have the manipulation and stuff. And again, differentiating modern versus traditional. Have all these issues, all these just issue on top of issue on top of issue. And then all the pushback. Then when I say you can get wrecked in America, all that on top of it. You can get divorced, lose past your stuff, child support, and all this. And then a lot of the modern women are still saying, well, stay because some of this trauma is your fault. No, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes a guy is coming in, the woman's coming in, she already has trauma. So he's supposed to just stay and deal with that. I dealt with all that. When you go somewhere else, and the woman, and I'm not saying no one in other countries have no trauma. They don't have the same trauma. It's just different. They're raised in a different way. And again, I'm not even bringing up race because I can keep it black.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you think it's a race thing or a culture thing? Because the videos I showed you was old, young, white, black. It was all different kinds. So do you think that this whole modern woman ideology, do you think it's a race thing or a culture thing?
I think it's a culture thing for sure, because as far as feminism and all that, all the races are into it. All the races are into the whole feminine thing and all that. And I think what's triggering is that I think they know deep down the implications. I really do. I really do. I think it's the implications, meaning that, hey, these guys have choices, and a lot of the modern women are going to get left behind. Okay. And then I saw a comment, you track your own energy. Okay, great. So when you go to another country and you get better results, okay. I said in another space, and I said on TikTok, I said, okay, a lot of times it's always moving the goalposts. It's always moving the goalposts, especially with modern women. Okay. Oh, it's you, or it's what you attract, or you're not this, or you're not that, or whatever. Okay, great. The ultimate litmus test is this. If a man is here in the West, or there in the West, I should say, and he's not getting good results, okay, and then he travels abroad and he gets the exact same results, it's him. That's on him. Because that's a different country, a different woman, a different culture, and you're still getting the same results, then it's you. But if you're getting terrible results in the West, and then you go to another country and you get great results, then who is it? You see? So it may not be you. It's just that the problem is this. It's not America versus the world. It's not that. It is modern versus traditional. If a modern man is with a traditional woman, it is not going to work. If a traditional man is with a modern woman, it's not going to work. If traditional and traditional meet, it has the best chances of working, and the stats back that up, period.
All right, you heard he said period. He said period, y'all. So y'all know what that means, period. With that being said, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. I look forward to you coming back again. If you guys enjoy, y'all just hit my email up. Y'all was hitting the comment section up. Part two. So you guys want him back, definitely let me know, which I'm planning on bringing him back anyway. Also, you guys can hit him up on High Value Hebrew on TikTok and on YouTube. So go check his channel out. If you enjoyed what you heard today, and you really did, bless his brother at RandomReed on Cashapp. Send him an offering, send him a blessing, because he didn't have to come here today and bless us with his time, his knowledge, his information, but he did, and we are grateful for that. So you guys go ahead and show him some love on Cashapp at RandomReed. And with that being said, Reed, you got any last words you wanna add until we see you, hopefully, Lord's will, next week?
Absolutely. I just want to say all praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I hope he bless each person that was listening on this stream for giving us their time and attention. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the dialogue and the Discord. And please, everybody, look, like, share, subscribe. This sister Christina is working hard. I talked to her behind the scenes. She works. She has like 8 arms. She's like an octopus. She's doing everything. She gets it done. She put a lot of work in behind the scenes. I promise you. We talk behind the scenes, and she tries to get it done and try to deliver you guys some content. And she's really trying to be the ear and the voice for you guys. She'll ask the questions. She'll even ask you, say, "Hey, I'm going to ask these questions because it's out there." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine.
I got to do it.
So she's working hard. She's working really hard. So please bless her. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and bless you and your household.
Thank you, guys. Let's talk till next time.